Hello, welcome back. We are still at the New Media Lab. Thanks for joining us. Today we have Audrey Mitchell, Chance Cochran, and Cameron Smith with us. Could you guys introduce your topics?
I'm Cameron. My topic that I chose to do was music therapy and if it was a good tool for mental illness.
My name is Audrey, and my topic is living in two worlds, is what I call it, and it's basically just about the Native American people and how we implement our culture and also live in today's society.
All right.
My name is Chance, and my topic is on esports and clearing up the negative stigma that surrounds it.
Right now, we're just going to kind of glaze over what we talked about in the last podcast. So let's start with the objective thesis, or what made you guys choose this topic?
Oh, we're starting right here. All right. I kind of landed on this topic because music has been a pretty impactful thing in my life. Music's done a lot for me. So with music therapy, I think it's something from what I've been studying is it has a lot more of a universal effect than you would think as far as just depression or anxiety or anything like that. But I landed on it because I think it's an alternative to just going to a therapist and everybody being prescribed medication for things that they may not necessarily need it for. It's just what doctors are taught in school is to prescribe medicine and not find alternatives to giving you anything outside of that. So for me, I landed on music therapy because I think it's a beneficial alternative to just taking medication.
All right. And Audrey?
For my topic, it's kind of one that I grew up with since I am Native American. Basically, it's just kind of how I see how I grew up and how the way I live my life, because I grew up in Mesa, so I haven't really grown up on any reservations. I haven't really had any ties to any land like other Native youth around me have really experienced. When I grew up, I didn't really start knowing my culture until I went into high school. And then when I was exposed to that, it made me want to learn more. And then it kind of got me exposed to this other side of how Native Americans have to deal with the trauma of what our ancestors went through and trying to revitalize our culture and our traditions while still trying to stay current within today's society.
I chose my topic because I grew up homeschooled, so I didn't really have a good way to socialize. And I started going to tournaments like a few years ago, and that's how I met most of my friends. And so I wouldn't say that I'm mostly trying to clear up the negative stigma because I don't think it's like a perfect community. I would say more I'm trying to publicize what actually goes on in the community because it's affected my life so positively. And also, I just wanted to say that's funny that you chose that topic because before I landed on the topic that I have right now, that's the exact one I was thinking of. So,
Yeah, that's really cool though, because your topic can be pretty enlightening as far as just getting the information out there, but that's cool that you were thinking about the same thing, because it's one thing I've always said is music is the universal language. Everybody listens to music no matter what the language is, no matter what the tempo is or the genre.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm thinking about going into as a career right now because I'm not entirely sure.
That's awesome.
So, shifting topics, how do you guys think a rubric has affected your, research paper, positively and negatively, anything like that?
I would say it's made the paper a lot easier. I don't want to call it like a copy and paste because it's a little more sophisticated than that, but it's definitely made it a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's true also, and it's kind of a better way to form your thoughts, because I'm sure we've all been through the process of writing a paper and having all these ideas and thoughts and not really knowing where to put them. And so having this rubric and trying to just get your thoughts down into the specific order is very helpful, and it is a very helpful way to try to tame your thoughts and also get it into a creative process.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what she's saying. Is it gives you that structure with all those ideas you kind of got going around in your head. It helps you get it into an order, that organization of putting what you want, where you want it, and kind of finding where everything fits in there. It does a good job of breaking it down and making it making it easier just to kind of put everything that you want to put into that paper, making sure you hit all your areas and your different points.
So if teachers start introducing more and more rubrics to their classes, you guys would feel like it's pretty beneficial, it would make it easier to start other kids to learn how to really write?
Yeah, because I've been through the process of like writing papers, and then I try to put all my ideas in there, and then teachers like bring the paper back to me saying you had good ideas, but they were kind of like
Messy?
Yeah, messy and like kind of everywhere. And so getting a rubric, it really helps me really form my ideas and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'd definitely say it does, just because it helps with making the paper not seem so overwhelming, because you're not quite sure everything that you want to touch on, and it makes it really good for just kind of laying it out there.
Any comments?
I definitely think so, yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but in the past, whenever I've been writing a paper, there's always been like an awkward phase where I'm like trying to like figure out the structure, or like sometimes I just sit there for like 30 minutes trying to figure out what I want to write about next. But yeah, the rubric has definitely helped with that.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone in the audience have any comments, questions, a funny joke perhaps?
I was gonna say, like, would you guys prefer more structured rubrics? Like, there are some teachers that always give a rubric, but it's very vague compared to a more like, you need to have this specifically this amount, you need to have this specifically that.
Mm-hmm. So we just got asked if our talent here would prefer vague or more detailed rubrics. Chance, do you want to talk about that? Want to start?
I don't really know.
No? Okay.
I think for me personally, I like the more structure, because it kind of depends on like the teacher too, like really what they're looking for. And if they want us to be more creative in our process of writing, then they can give us like a more laid back rubric. But if they really want us to have these specific ideas and thoughts in there, then I think having a more structured rubric would really help the students.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's really hit or miss depending on how much freedom you want to give the students for being creative, because you can make it really to the point and what everything you need to have in it, or you can kind of leave it a little open for the students to be more innovative with what they want to put in there and how they want to lay it all out.
All right, perfect.
That's a good follow-up question.
Follow-up question.
So like in here again, we're teaching framing and method, and I'm not getting into your content because I don't want to disrupt creativity. So do beginning writers and emerging writers think that a rubric dampens their creativity? That'd be a good question.
All right, so a follow-up question that was brought up by Webb here is that do rubrics happen to damp creativity?
I would say no. Like I was saying earlier, I think they just give you that structure you need to get everything you want in that paper. It doesn't necessarily take away from how well you can put it in there. It just gives you that nice layout of knowing what you want to put in that paper.
I agree. I think that having structure is good, and there's no like limit to how much you can put in there. Your ideas can like be put in a structured order, and if you want to have like more on top of that, then you can also like put more of your ideas and have more creative thoughts based on the rubric.
I don't think it takes away from the creative process at all, because it's not like it tells you what your opinion needs to be, and it doesn't tell you what your topic needs to be. So
For me, it's like you were saying, it's hit or miss. I'm a speaker, and for me, for papers, yeah, it can be useful, but if you are going to try to tell me how I'm going to put something down, there's going to be an issue. I'm very headstrong on some of these things. So you guys were talking about how your topic kind of stems from a personal idea. I have 3 different little questions for you guys. For Cameron, obviously music education must have a huge hand in music therapy, because you need to learn about it before you can really, or is it just based off of personal taste?
It's a little bit of both, because music is very individualized as far as what your preferences are. But at the same time, there is a lot of music education you need to have as far as frequency, as far as tempo, as far as all that goes. When you break it down like that, it really branches into a lot of different areas. There's been studies where a certain song can help somebody recall memories they haven't had for 30 years. There's a certain song or a certain sound that somebody can hear that alone will give them a little light and make them feel less depressed and feel that weight lifted off of their shoulders. When you really break it down, there is a music education to it, but at the same time, you have to know the people as well to kind of find what's going to help them and what's going to work for them to really get out of it what you want to get out of that music therapy.
All right, so a very individualized kind of therapy. All right. And so, Audrey, you were talking about how you didn't really understand or you didn't get the full weight of what your culture is until you got into high school. Now, there's a phenomena called culture shock, where if, you come to this brand new area, brand new culture, you kind of, like it's in the name, you get shaken up about what's going on. But you kind of had a foot in the door already. Did you experience any sort of culture shock when you started?
I think it was for a lot of Native American youth that I've met, most of it is like a story about them growing up on the reservations and then moving to a city, and then they're like overwhelmed by how many people, like so many buildings and whatever there is in the city. For me, it was kind of, I wouldn't really necessarily say the opposite, but kind of in like the other way, where I did grow up in the city and I was surrounded by, people that didn't really look like me, and I kind of conformed to this westernized society of their culture and what they believe in. And so once I really got exposed to getting to know more people from my reservations, and even people from like different reservations or from different Native American backgrounds and identities, it really showed me how much that I was missing when I grew up, I guess. Because, I don't know, it was just kind of like me getting exposed to more of the cultural side of things and me wanting to learn more about not just my traditions, but also the traditions of like my friends. I have some friends that are like Apache, some friends that are like from Mojave, Chemehuevi, Hopi, and just like all of the different tribes in this nation. And it really got me thinking how all of our tribes really, what we go through and kind of what we deal with in our day-to-day lives. So that's what really what really inspired me to try to write this paper.
Nice. And Chance, for you, you're writing about the whole gaming and trying to introduce the world into the culture of gaming. I'm going to take a long shot here and say you might have a few online friends that you've never really met in real life.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. So some might argue that since you've never met them, never had a physical relationship with your friends, they're not your friends. Now, because I can understand kind of where you're coming from, what would you say is the biggest difference? Because now you're now at a school. What's the difference between your friends online and your friends if you have friends here in real life? Not saying that you don't have friends here.
I'm actually not I don't have a lot to say on that subject because I mainly had one friend that he was just a friend mainly online, and it turns out he lives here in Arizona, and now we hang out frequently. So, I don't really know what to say on that topic, honestly.
All right. I'm gonna get one last call for the audience. Questions, comments. No? All right. Well, it looks like we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Audrey, Chance, and Cameron for being here and answering all of the questions. Thank you guys and have a great day.